Good morning, little chef. Today we're in Nassau, Bahamas. Even though it's early in the morning, I'm happy to be here. I start off my morning by pouring myself a cup of coffee, and then I'll unload the dishwasher. I run it 2 to 3 times a day, depending on how many guests we have. This thing puts in the work. Since my galley is open to the guests, I make sure that it's really clean all the time. If there's even one dish in the sink, I won't let it sit for longer than 5 minutes. Every morning, I do an inventory check. Today, I noticed that my jalapenos and mangoes were ripe. Obviously, I can't use all these 20 jalapenos or 30 mangoes today, but what I'll do is cut them up and freeze them. This is how I prevent a lot of the food waste on board. Thankfully, we have 8 freezers for all of this storage. These mangoes actually came from the owner's backyard. I'll put some of the mangoes into a Ziploc bag to be frozen, and the rest go into the Ninja Creamy. I persuaded the owners of the Yacht to buy the Ninja Creamy because they love ice cream. But they also follow a sugar-free diet. So this allows me to make the ice cream with artificial sweetener. And change up all the flavors. Then I'll get my jalapenos chopped up and into the freezer. Next task of the day is crew breakfast. I'm just making some cheesy scrambled eggs and some toasted English muffins. The crew likes a simple breakfast. Usually a smoothie, a bagel with cream cheese, or eggs. Crew breakfast is ready, so I'll take up the food, cutlery, and plates up to the bridge where we eat all of our meals. The guests are up, so I served them some fresh fruit while I worked on their breakfast. They're really into breakfast salads. So this morning, I'm making a tahini, lemon, and dill vinaigrette to go on top of an arugula salad. I keep all of my herbs on the windowsill so they get plenty of sunlight. If I need anything, I'll take my kitchen shears and just chop it off. Into the salad, I'll also add dried cranberries and some feta. The captain and the first mate went out to the marine store to see if they could find fuses that we keep blowing in the engine room. Gina came into the galley and told me that they can't find it anywhere, so we're gonna have to get it flown in. Did you find the piece?
Absolutely not. 3 different locations we did not.
Oh god.
So I think we're moving because she's excited about going to the next marina.
Oh, okay. So we're doing
on 10.
Alright.
And then going to Norman's Cay, the one that we went to last.
Awesome.
Yeah, you know what?
Yes. Also got orders that departure is at 10 a.m. The guests will sit down and enjoy breakfast, and then we'll head out. I'll plate up my breakfast salad along with some smoked salmon, cottage cheese, and a fried egg. Last but not least, drizzle it with a little bit of balsamic glaze. If you're enjoying these recipes, check the description below. I do cooking classes once a month for $2.99. I'm also making a cookbook that's coming soon. 10 a.m., we're heading out of the Nassau Marina and on our way to Norman's Cay. We're towing a tender, so that means Brian drives it in and out of marinas. Therefore, Gina and I are on lines. I don't know too much, so I just listen to Gina's orders. This year, I am learning a lot. The lines she's working on now are called the spring lines. When we're on the dock, these lines prevent the boat from moving forward and backwards.
Past this boat.
Swim platform past the boat, got it. Captain Mark gave me the order of going to the stern and letting him know when we've cleared the boat. This marina is really tight. I gave Mark the hand signal that we've cleared the boat, and we're on our way. We usually communicate through walkie-talkie, but when we're underway, it's hard to hear the walkie-talkies. So Gina and Mark have a little earpiece that they'll talk through. Captain will make the orders to Gina, and then Gina will delegate. And there's the iconic Nassau view. Nice job, Cap. That was tight.
That was pretty good.
Only got one for the swim platform. I think
We had a good 10 feet.
Yeah.
No, that's when I was telling you a little bit more forward before you start turning.
Yeah.
That's about when you yell.
I don't know if Mark wants me to take the one off. Does Gina need to untie the double-tied fender?
No, we're gonna need them at Norman's.
We're gonna need him at Norman's. If it wasn't for Gina, I would have no idea what to do. She's got me moving fenders, tying knots, deflating fenders, and blowing them up again. It all depends on where we're gonna dock at the marina. We might have all the fenders set up on the port side, and then we'll need to move it to the starboard side. It also depends if it's a floating dock or not. So right now, Brian is on the tender following the yacht. And once we get into some open waters, he'll come onto the yacht and then we'll start towing the tender. And this is quite an operation. We're following all of Captain's orders to make sure this runs smoothly. We got Brian back on the yacht and now we're pulling the tender. I'll help with moving the fenders again to get them prepared for when we come into the next marina. While we're underway, I usually try to do simple lunches, because it's a little difficult to cut things up and cook while we're moving. If the seas are rough, my pots and pans come flying off the stove. So for lunch today, I'm making steak Mediterranean bowls. I cut up some eggplant to roast off, and now I'm cutting up sweet peppers. I also made some quinoa, some curried chickpeas, and cut up more vegetables to go on top. I'm using some New York strip steak that I just seasoned with salt and pepper, and I'll sear that in a pan. We're trying to get a nice medium rare cook on that. At 12:30, I serve lunch on the upper deck. The guests eat outside probably 80% of the time. The only time they eat inside is if it's raining or the bugs are bad. We're about 2 miles from Norman's Cay, so Brian is getting back on the tender to pull it into the marina. Captain Mark is on the swim platform with us with a remote control for the boat. You heard me right, a remote control. He doesn't have to be in the bridge to drive the boat, he just wears the remote around his neck like a little necklace. We're really close to the marina, so that means we need to get our fenders tied off to get prepared to dock. For docking, I'm in charge of the bow line. All I have to do is swing the line to the guy on the dock. We had a 3 o'clock arrival time. I packed the guests some snacks and they headed to the beach. And the crew got everything situated. We had to tie up more fenders on the side of the boat to get the tender on the hip. Pretty much just get the small boat on the big boat side. So the first mate will drive the tender to the side of the boat and we'll tie it off. We have a Peloton and some free weights on the upper deck, so I got in some exercise. On to dinner prep. Tonight I'm making fish en papillon, which is basically fish in a bag. So you just need some parchment paper to wrap the fish and vegetables in. You're trying to get a good seam on the outside to trap in all of the steam. I'm using potatoes, radishes, and asparagus in mine. So I'll break down my fish and we'll get it prepared. Dinner service was at 7 p.m. and the guests loved it. And for dessert, I'm making a mango sorbet. If you're liking this channel, make sure to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Bye, little chef.